Yo, 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 what is going on, O's fans? Welcome back to Orioles Theory, your number one-stop shop for all things Baltimore Orioles related. I'm your co-host and creator of O's Theory, Tyler Barbaras. Joined with me is none other than Clay Selgin. Clay, how are we doing today, brother?
Brother, we're good. It's been a good weekend. A little upset with the Orioles outcome, but nothing less than expected. So, how are you? How was your weekend going? You enjoyed the nice game
We
last night?
Yeah. Went to the O's game last night with my parents and my younger brother. It was actually my parents' wedding anniversary, so it was nice. Had a nice little night at the yard. It was my mom's first game this year and my dad's first game this year, so they brought a little bit of good luck in. Me and my dad, we were gonna try and go back up today. To see if we can, continue to bring that good luck. And maybe if we were there, Gunnar Henderson's extra innings slap shot gets over the glove of Matt Olson, and the O's walk it off on consecutive days. But I don't want to ask for too much. But other than that, it was great. Got the trade deadline about 9 days away. Starting my job in 9 days as well, my new job. So a lot of things going on right now in my life, Clay. But it
How do
is
you?
important to note, though, that O Squared residential design and flooring has a lot going on. And let me tell you about them. Look, we know what it takes to build a winning team, and O Squared knows what it takes to build winning spaces. They're a woman owned, family operated company right here in Maryland, specializing in kitchen and bathroom renovations. Whether you're looking to restore, replace, or completely remodel, they deliver excellence in every square inch. Serving homeowners across the state of Maryland. Check them out at osquaredesign.com. That's osquaredesign.com.
You've
As you can
had you've
see,
had better cutscenes, Tyler. You've had better cuts to it. I'm
have
not
I?
giving you that one.
Yeah. That one was pretty piss poor. But I wanted to get it out the way though, so we could talk about the absolute malpractice that we saw today and also on Friday. I don't want to like beat around the bush anymore, Clay. O's
Good. I
obviously
saw
fell.
you getting mad all weekend, Tyler. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it, man. And Clay, I want to ask you first, and I know that you're the guy with all the different opinions. So I'm going to ask you first. Like Friday, the game that the O's lost, I think 8-7 was the final. They had a 2-1 lead going into the eighth inning. Rico Garcia gives up a solo homer to Drake Baldwin to tie the game up, and then bases loaded. 3-0 count. Taylor Ward keeps the bat on his shoulders, can't deliver. That was a pretty tough game. And then to see kind of how Craig Albertaz managed that game too really left a sour taste in my mouth. And it seems like he also did that again today and yesterday for that fact. So, Clay, I just want to ask you overall, the series, how are you feeling? And then we can kind of break down, what we saw and how we think Albie could have managed it differently.
Yeah, I feel upset. I feel like I've given Albie more credit this year than most people have given him. Maybe not credit, but room for growth.
Improvement. Yeah.
Yeah,
A longer leash.
a longer leash. I think there's signs that I see that are good. I think this is a series that the Braves were asking us to sweep them, and we just couldn't do it. You look at and the reason I give Albie the leeway is because of how bad this bullpen is. Rico Garcia, you relied on him for 2 months this year. All of a sudden, it's a state mandated homer every eighth inning now. It becomes kind of it's unfortunate, but who is he going to turn to? I mean, Tyler Wells has been great, but he's still due to, he gives up a run like he did in Boston every once in a while. I mean, these guys aren't, there's nobody in this pen that you can turn to and fully trust. So I will give him that. Yennier Cano needs to be getting those opportunities. And I know we're going to talk about that.
And and,
Yeah.
and that's what I wanted to get into. And Clay, I wouldn't necessarily say like this bullpen isn't good because I think throughout the whole year they've
Bad.
slightly overperformed expectations. They were really, really good in like April and May. They had a rough month of June. But like July, I feel like they've really, really, really turned it around. My thing is though, is it was just poorly mismanaged. We've seen Rico Garcia be a 5.6 ERA guy since, mid-May. And Albie consistently throws him in not the fire, but he continues to give him these opportunities when time after time after time, like you said, Clay, it's a state mandated, solo homer. And one thing that I will say about Rico Garcia and why maybe he has been struggling a lot more is because I feel like he's only now a two pitch pitcher. I have not seen him throw a curveball in probably a month, and I loved that pitch, especially against lefties. I thought it was fantastic. When he was doing normal Rico Garcia things. But now he's just a fastball changeup guy. And it's a lot easier to be able to, dig an 88-mile-per-hour changeup that's low, like it's not even in the zone, is it? Like it's a good pitch, but when you only have to see fastball changeup, makes a hitter's job that much easier. And Rico Garcia just doesn't really have it anymore. And while you can blame Rico for giving up that homer on Saturday and on Friday and a bunch of other ones, in the month of July and June, Craig Abernaz should know better than, putting him back in high leverage situations when Yennier Cano has arguably been your most consistent reliever all year long. Anthony Nunez has looked much better ever since getting called back up. Tyler Wells, yeah, sure, he'll be your ninth inning guy, but he used to be a starter. Who said you can't throw him in the eighth and ninth? So it just feel like he's doing a lot of mismanaging, over managing even. And I feel like if he
Definitely on
manages,
the over managing.
I
Definitely
agree.
especially on the hitting side. It's
Right,
over
right.
managing.
But bullpen wise, I feel like and I'm not calling him Albie anymore. He's Craig from here on out. He's like we're on a first name basis. He doesn't get to have one of those cool baseball nicknames anymore. Craig, I feel like has costed the Orioles at least 5 games just based off the players and the pitchers that he's been putting in certain situations. And it is over managing from a rookie manager. If you're confident in the talent that you have in your clubhouse, then just let them play through it. Instead of trying to do all this micromanaging, let them figure it out on their own. He hasn't done that. Maybe that's why you've seen guys like Gunnar, remain cold. And that's a thing that we'll
Lineup
talk
changes
about
every night.
a
Lineup
different time.
changes
Right.
every night. Yeah.
It does. And I'm just tired of it. And I believe
100%.
that Craig Abernez, maybe not as much today, but yesterday on Saturday's game, if we lost that game, that would have been another Albie stinker. And then Friday was an Albie stinker. And it's got to be better. Clay, anything else to add?
Yeah, I mean, you said it best. I mean, what I will say about the bullpen with them struggling is Yennier needs to get those opportunities. It feels like we only see Yennier
Thousand
when they're up by
percent.
3,000%. And the other thing I want to mention is, not that it was Andrew Kittredge's fault Friday night, but Andrew Kittredge could not be in the game when the game means something. I mean, the role that they have Albert Suarez playing, he's pitched 2 times in the month of July. That should be the role Andrew Kittredge is in. Because Albert Suarez came in today, he was effectively wild, but he got outs. Andrew Kittredge, every time
It's
he's
all I
pitching,
need.
I'm
All I
just
need is
like,
outs.
yeah, I don't care how wild you are, as long as you're getting outs, not giving up runs.
Yep.
There's not a time that Andrew Kittredge comes in and I'm like, all right, I feel good here. We could be up 8, and I'm like, fuck, we're gonna have to get our closer up. Like, it's
I
just
think it's laughable to see Yennier Cano almost almost in August and only having 34 and 2/3 innings pitched when Rico Garcia is still at 45, Nunez is at 42, Wolfram is at 30 and 2/3, Kittredge is at 29 and 2/3, but he was also injured for a little bit. I'm confused as to why you don't just give Cano, the guy that has a 2.34 ERA and a whip at 1, opportunities late in game over a guy in Rico who now has a 3 ERA. His whip is still somehow below 1, but that's because he doesn't really walk guys. He just gives up solo homers. And
interesting.
maybe they are. Maybe they are saving Yennier Cano to trade him. And that's a conversation that like no one wants to have, but it's like that the bullpen is your biggest weakness right now. Why aren't you throwing your best arms in the highest of leverage situations? And I
And
would hope.
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say to Doriel's comment, like I would hope they don't trade Cano because he's a guy that has years of team control. He's proven time in and time again that he's a very, very good reliever. He's had his ups and downs, and everyone it has, but consistently, Yennier Cano's the guy that right now on this team, if there were bases loaded, zero outs, I'd have most faith in him getting a ground ball, throwing it to home, then getting a double play, flipping that at first, and striking out the third batter or the following batter. Like
100%.
that's who I think Yennier Cano is. And I would like to see them really shake up this bullpen, move Wolfram. Like, we don't have any good lefties. We don't have one single good lefty. And I've been saying that
We
the
talked about that the
whole
first time.
year. Yeah, I've been saying it the whole year. They came in the season with Grant Wolfram, Dietrich Enns, and like Keegan
Keegan,
Aiken as their main lefties. That's not gonna work.
putrid.
It's terrible.
But I will mention, and just to respond to the Orioles, I mean, I don't think they're going to trade him. I think it's mismanagement. I'll put it this way: if they trade you, he'll be the first to go if we're selling, because I don't think that Craig likes him. I maybe likes not the right word, but he doesn't trust him. Obviously, he doesn't trust him. He's not being put in when he should be. But I think that the Orioles know the value that he has. I don't think he's the guy that goes. I think, like Tyler said, we don't have any lefties. We talked about Thursday with Zach Bollinger, whether it's Morhone, whether it's AJ Minter, whoever it is, this team needs a lefty. I mean, it's proven. Grant Wolfram, as Zach said, is you never know what you're getting. Andrew Kittredge is a righty, but you never know what you're getting. There's nobody in this pen right now, including Tyler Wells, even though he's been really good, that I can consistently say, you know what, I can guarantee we're not giving up a run here. Just like how Rico was in April and May, there's no one like that or anywhere close to that. And that's part of why I say buy. And we'll get into this, but we're what, 3 back right now, 2.5 back, 3 back, and your
3.
4 games under
3
400,
after losing.
and your 4 games under 500. Most of the time, I would say sell, but this team's only 3 games back, and
They're playing disgusting baseball.
they're playing disgusting baseball.
Two
They
and a
have
half.
no
Two and a half,
bullpen. They're
actually.
2.5
Two and
back.
a
They're
half.
2.5 back. You got a very winnable 2 out of 3 series coming up in Detroit if you just play a respectable level of baseball. That's why I say buy, because this team has given you a shit sandwich for 4 months now, and they have the chance to add guys that are good Major League Baseball players and can get them over that hump of playing shitty. So as bad as we're playing right now, if we can get better, we're in. Nobody else is playing good. You look at the teams ahead of us. Minnesota's going to sell off. I bet you Minnesota trades Joe Ryan. At the end of the day, they're going to try and capitalize on value. They're not going to pay him in 2 years.
It would make
It wouldn't
sense.
shock. I saw reports that Byron Buxton would waive his no trade clause to go to Philly. That wouldn't shock me. You're going to jump them. I don't see Houston getting any better. And the Mariners can't hit. They can't hit. They hit worse than we do. So,
It seems like it's kind of like a three-way race for that final spot between
nobody wants it.
right. And it's us, the Astros,
The Indians.
Either the Mariners or Rangers, whoever doesn't win that division, and then probably the Guardians. I don't see the Blue Jays making a surge. They seem like they're going to be kind of sellers. I don't see the Twins making it either. And I mean, unless the Tigers sweep us, I don't see them making it either, especially if they, trade off Skubal. So
we might be watching Tarek Skubal's last start as a Tiger Wednesday.
we
You talk
very
about a
well
hell
could
of a
be.
matchup. We'll talk about that at the end of the show, but
Yep.
it's gonna be a hell of a matchup Wednesday.
Yeah, and the Orioles, yes, it sucks being 2-4 in your last 6 after you had a 7-game win streak. But at the same time, it could have been much worse. We couldn't have we could have gotten swept here in against the Braves, and Bradish could have had a stinker the other night. But at the same time, too, they could have very, very easily been 5-1 over that 6-game stretch, with the only loss being Dean Kramer's blow up on against the Red Sox in Game 1. But I do want to shift focus here a little bit to the pitching rotation, because outside of that Dean Kramer start, this has been the best rotation in baseball since the All-Star break, and it's a small sample size. And these stats, it's not incorporating Shane Baz's start today, so stats might go up a little bit. But an 8 games started, and now it's 9. But I tweeted this out yesterday on our Orioles Theory Twitter page. Make sure to check us out at O's Theory. In 8 games started, 42 and a third innings pitched. That's second best. So the guys are going deep into games. 3.19 ERA, that's 5th best. Dean Kramer's start inflated the crap out of that. A 3.48 expected ERA, 10th best. A 0.21 home run per 9, that's first. The starters aren't giving up the long ball. It's just the bullpen. And I think that's the most important thing with starters, is not giving up homers. I'll die on that hill, because
100%. I
if you're
mean,
a guy
walks
that
too, but
well, that's my point. If you walk a lot of guys, but you give up a lot of homers, you're just giving up 2, 3, 4 runs every 2 innings, you know? So,
mhm.
first in that, they're 1.49 walks per 9 or third best, and they have the highest WAR at 1.7. They also have 7 quality starts. The rotation is legit, and Drew
Absolutely.
French deserves his flowers. And I made a comment or a tweet earlier today that the Orioles should hit up the New York Mets, trade for Freddie Peralta and a bullpen arm or two. My mock trade was Freddie Peralta and AJ Minter, who's a southpaw reliever, veteran, having a great year. Peralta's been terrible. He's at a 5.01 ERA this year.
Yeah.
But I would give up Luis De Leon, who just got promoted to AAA, Levi Wells or Nestor Herman, someone in that range, and then maybe a Dominican summer league bat. I think Peralta, you slot him over Kramer. If the O's somehow do get hot, you'd much rather have Peralta on the bump than Kramer. And I also think Peralta has had just a terrible year in New York because it is New York, it's Queens. A lot of people go play in New York and their careers die. But look at what Drew French has done to Brandon Young. Why can't he turn Freddie Peralta's season around?
See, and I like what you're thinking. And if the Orioles did it, I wouldn't mind it at all. I think AJ Minter would be a great ad, and I think Freddie Peralta brings the experience we need. I think my worry is the price point. Giving up De Leon,
I
giving
think
up,
it's cheap. I think it could be cheaper than that. Like
and
everyone in
I'm
the
not.
comments were
I think
saying it would be.
that's what I'm saying. I think it would be cheaper than De Leon. I think
Okay,
with the year Peralta's having, I think I don't want to give up De Leon for a guy like Peralta who, mind you, has a great track record, but you're
he
getting
probably
2
won't
months.
resign.
Probably won't resign. You're getting 2 months, and the year he's had isn't. I don't think it's De Leon worthy, and I don't want this to be taken as Clay doesn't want the Orioles to trade prospects. I'm fine if we trade prospects, but if we're gonna go get a guy, if we're gonna go get a rental, go get a Robbie Ray. Go call the Giants and say, you know what, we want Logan Webb. What do you want?
Sure.
Call, you know, go get the guy that has the numbers this year. I mean, it's almost if we're giving up De Leon for Peralta, it's almost to me we're chasing a name more than we are chasing. What have you done recently?
Well, to me, Clay, it's more so seeing it and being like, okay, we can get one of these really good relievers that the Mets have.
100%. I
And
mean, but I think we could get one of these relievers. Even, I mean, it's a great thought to package the starter, and I wouldn't mind that, especially with a team like the Mets or the Giants. But you know, I tend to believe that I think Peralta's price is for some reason going to be higher than it should be, just because I think there is going to be a bidding war. I think teams are thinking just like you and I both are. Freddie Peralta is a really good rotations starter,
yeah,
but you know I also just think that I think you can get a guy like Robbie Ray for cheaper, who's been better this year. I think you could call the Padres, and I saw that maybe they're not going to trade Mason Miller, but I saw that
more
maybe
home.
Michael King's available,
Yeah.
Marone. Maybe you slot in Michael King. I mean, maybe you give up the De Leon or the Trey Gibson and go get Michael King, who just got a 3-4 year deal.
3-year deal.
That's a controllable arm right there, where you can say, you know what, we're giving up 6 years of service for De Leon. I feel comfortable giving that up for 3 years or 2.5 years of Michael King.
Yeah, that's very fair. And I know a lot of Orioles fans aren't like, oh, we need a starter because we really don't. But my point is that if the starting pitching market this year is going to be so saturated from Scooble, as soon as that move is done, and like he's not going to get that big of a return back either. Like he'll probably get one, maybe
He
two
will,
top
but he
100
won't.
prospects.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking about two
And
months here.
right. And I think once you start to see like a guy like Scooble will get only one top 100 prospect, teams will be like, oh, okay, well, if we're, right outside the playoff hunt, we need a pitcher. We kind of need to take a risk here to see if it pays off. Let's give them our ninth best prospect and 14th best prospect for Freddie Peralta and one of their bullpen arms. That's kind of where my thinking is at. With that being
100%.
said, I do think bullpen is 1000% more important than getting a starter. And I want to talk about the Mets bullpen real quick, just because I think that this is going to be a team that's going to trade at least like 7 players at the deadline. And Huascar Brazoban is a really interesting name. 8.8 K per nine this year, 2.3
Mentioned him
ERA.
Thursday. Yeah, what
He's
could
a
throw?
he's a fun arm, but I think if we're looking at lefties here, I think AJ Minter or Brooks Raley are the guys. Brooks Raley, in only 42 games this year, 32 and two-thirds innings pitched. He has a 9 K per nine. The walks are a little high, but he keeps the home runs down. 0.48 home run per nine, 2.5 ERA, 3.59 expected ERA. I think that's a number that if he comes to Baltimore, it'll go down because of the wall. I just hope that he can keep that control down. But Rayleigh is one guy, and then AJ Minter as well.
AJ
22
Minter
innings.
has a lot of playoff experience too.
He
That's
does.
another. These guys know
And
how to
he
play in October.
and he's only pitched 22 innings this year. So it's like he's rested. Like, okay, AJ, you come to the Orioles, you're going to go. You know what I mean? So 22 innings, 7.36 K per nine. The walks have been fantastic. 0.82 walks per nine, 1.64 home runs per nine. So he's given up, one every, 7 or so innings. But he's got a 2.45 ERA, 3.71 expected ERA. I think a lot of these arms are like going to regress at least to the mean a little bit once they get traded and they leave the Mets, but
It's
you
better
just
than
need
we
a
have.
lefty that say it
It's better
again.
than we have. It's better than we have.
That's what I was saying. Like that's my point. Like you just got to get something that's better than Grant Wolfram and whatever the hell you're throwing out every day.
You know,
And no, take it away. Because I was
yeah,
just gonna say, I just think that this team needs to add at least 2 lefties, Adrian
100%.
Morehone and another lefty, or Adrian Morehone and Luke Weaver. You gotta make
You got to
splashes
get two guys. I
for the
mean,
bullpen.
and we have a couple. Rex said we should sell everybody. I don't agree with that, but I will say I think this bullpen should have a. I think the bullpen should be completely different. If I have the deadline that I dream we have, we go get 2 or 3 guys in the pen. Kittredge is gone. Maybe Grant Wolfram gets sent down. And you kind of replenish these guys that aren't working. I do think obviously the bullpen is more important, but I do think you still need to get a starter. I say this, and it's a tricky thing because you need someone better than Dean Kremer, but a guy like Freddie Peralta for me, as much as you want to have him, right now I'm confident if the Orioles get to the wild card series, we have the 3 guys that I want starting those 3 games. I
Radish Rogers Young.
100%. If you go get a guy like Peralta, where now we're talking about, is he going to get pissed off if we say, what, Brandon Young's been a lot better than you this year? We're not going to start you in the wild card, or
Well, you
we're
got
not
to
going to.
get there first,
You
and
got to get
and
there, but a guy like Robbie Ray, where you can say, okay, you have a 3.3 ERA, you've pitched great. We have no reliance, and if you get a guy like Freddie Peralta, you're talking about you're giving up a 2-month rental with the hope that he resigns. Do you want to piss him off by not starting him in a playoff game? Then you're just giving them more reasons, and you got to get there first, like you said, but you're giving them more reasons to think too much. And when Alvarez is thinking too much and Michael Elias is thinking too much, it leads to not so good decisions. You get a guy like Robbie Ray who, even though he's been a villain to the Orioles, he knows how to play his role and shut his mouth. That's the kind of guy the Orioles need. And I don't trust Dean Kremer. We tweeted out on Orioles Theory today that, Dean Kremer would be a great potential name for the White Sox. I think that would be great. And I think that the White Sox need a guy like that. It wouldn't be too costly. And whatever we can get from the White Sox for Dean Kremer would just help us, prospect wise in our pursuit for another guy. I mean, there's two other guys that we can move for somebody. So I think the Orioles need to fluctuate between buying and selling. Obviously more on the buy end, but sell off what's not working. You
yeah,
can't. The definition of insanity, like you said, is continuing to repeat, doing the same thing, expecting change. It's
exactly. And the one thing I will say to the whole starting pitcher conversation is that they don't need one, but starting pitching is a luxury. And if you could get a guy to help limit the innings of, a Kyle Bradish to preserve that arm, Shane Boz preserve that arm, and just get you a workhorse, for the next 2.5 months to at least get you closer to the playoffs, I think it would be worth it for a 15 to 30 range prospect. But what I will say is that bullpen is 1000% a need, but I think a bat is a more desirable need for obvious reasons. And the offense has been piss poor. Christian Encarnacion Strand and Tyler O'Neill lead the Orioles in RBIs post All-Star break. That is embarrassing. And that has got to be fixed. But the one thing I will say is I I think they will get a badge. And you're looking at a guy like Taylor Ward who is going to have a market. He has a 19 or 20 game on base streak. His price is only getting slowly and slowly more expensive. But at the same time, they'll get Ryan Mountcastle back, who's a much needed right-handed bat for them. They'll get Blaze back at some point. They'll get Basayo and Adley back at some point. Maybe they call up Kirstead. Maybe they call up Bradfield, who's just going to
100%
start
should.
slapping baseballs to the third baseline and beating it out. Like, help is on the way for this offense, and all I need them to do for the next 7 days is not get swept, tread above water. If you can win the series against Detroit, win the first 2 games, and then lose against Scooble, I'd be over the moon. Just please tread above water. Don't get swept. Don't go on one of those 4 or 5 game losing streaks to where you're completely out of it. Tread above water. You're gonna get reinforcements to come. Basayo and Adley, I think, should be back by a few days after the trade deadline.
Adley's got what? He went on
And he was playing catch and everything
Monday.
earlier too.
Yeah, Adley went on the DL what, Monday?
Monday sounds right. Then I think
So he'll
Basayo.
be back as early as this weekend against Philly.
Yeah.
Basayo went
Now
on Basayo went
Basayo's been
on
shut
Wednesday.
down.
Yeah.
But
Basayo, we're not gonna see Basayo until at least after the deadline.
right.
100%.
But to your point, Larry, yes, help has always been on the way. And we said that about the prospects and everything. But this offense is so bad right now for obvious reasons. They have Tyler O'Neill batting every day. They have Chadwick Trump and Sam Huff going 1 for 25 out the 9 spot. If they had Basayo or Adley in this series, they would have taken the series. Like, I'm confident on that. Help is
100%.
1000%
I
on the way. But that's
I
not
call
me
up Creed
saying that
Williams.
these guys coming back are going to make them into a playoff contender. I just think that the offense is going to get better. And I think they're in a position where they could add a bet. Clay, wrap us up, then we'll move on to the Detroit preview.
Yeah, Tyler, you said it best. I mean, help is on the way, and as shitty as it sounds to say that, and we've been saying it forever. I mean, you are getting Mountcastle back. I mean, Mountcastle would have been great to have off the bench today. You know, I think Kobe Mayo does go down when Ryan Mountcastle gets back. Not that Ryan's playing third, but you have the flexibility to do it now, and I wouldn't send Jeremiah Jackson down. You know, and Christian Encarnacion Strand is playing like an everyday third baseman, so you're not moving him. You know, help is on the way. I do think you need to call up Creed Williams. I think even if he's, you're trying,
1000%.
even if his fielding is less and maybe he's just coming off an injury, you just can't continue to run out this 1 for 20. I tweeted out. I told you, Tyler. I mean, as soon as Sam Huff came up with the bases loaded in the 10th today, I said it's over, or the 11th. It's over. It's over. So you just got to tread above water. You got to get through Detroit, and I guess we'll see.
Yeah, and that Detroit series is not going to be an easy one. But before we get into that, let me give one more quick shout out to our sponsor, O Squared Residential Design. Just like we build winning sports content, O Squared builds winning kitchens and bathrooms. They're a woman-owned, family-operated company right here in Maryland. Excellence in every square inch. Check them out at osquaredesign.com. That's osquaredesign.com. We have a tough one against Detroit. Luckily, they did lose 2 in a row to Kansas City. So they haven't jumped us yet, but they very, very well could. It'll be Scooble versus Rogers in game 3. Going up tomorrow, it'll be Kyle Bradish versus Kiter Montero with his 3.14 ERA this season in 106 innings pitched. He's an opener, really. He's not going to give you a lot of length this month. He has started 6 games, but has only pitched 18 and one third innings. But the thing is, though, is he is going to have a clean first half, like a clean start. He has the fourth highest whip in the majors at .96. He's only given up 10 hits this month, 22 strikeouts to go with that, to a 1.96 ERA and 18 in the third innings. It's not going to be easy, but at the same time, like, at what point do the bats just get it going? I hope it'll be this one, but Kiter Montero just seems like the type of pitcher that you think you're going to hit hard. You're confident that you're going to hit him hard, and then you don't hit him hard. So I'm not getting my hopes up offensively in game one, but it is Kyle Bradish. With Kyle Bradish on the mound, anything is possible. The one thing I will say, though, is I think this is his first start in Detroit in his career, so I'm interested to see how he'll do there. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe Bradish has made a start in Comerica Bank Park or
I don't
Comerica
believe
Park.
I don't believe so. And to go off what you said, I think tomorrow is the most winnable game of the series, and that's
Sure.
not on, because of Montero. Montero's great.
Just
You
because you
know,
have Bradish.
you have Bradish on the mound. Bradish went into Wednesday in Boston and said, you know what, I'm going to end their winning streak. And Bradish is one of the only guys on this team that has the mentality that, okay, we're gonna go win. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go give 6 innings and shove. That's who Kyle Bradish is. Wednesday, you got Trevor Rogers on the mound, which is great, but you got to go up against Scooble, and well, this team already doesn't hit lefties, and now they're going to go against the best one in baseball. So, you count your eggs and hope they hatch. But Tuesday will be tough. I mean, Dean Kremer on the mound, Troy Melton pitching
Sure,
for
Melton.
Detroit.
And
You know,
he made his
he's
MLB debut against the Orioles in May, and he went 5 2/3. We only got 2 hits off of him and one
you know,
earned run.
Troy
So
Melton seems to be only going five and a third. So the Orioles have a real chance at getting it deep into the Tigers bullpen the next 2 days.
yeah,
So you got a shot. I mean, if you can, you just got to work counts with these guys. I mean, I pray that's preached in the hitting meetings this week, and
think
but if you can get into their pen and then all of a sudden, you have their backs against the wall on Wednesday. Say you work Scooble a little bit, you got a tired pen on a day game on Wednesday. That's the best chance the Orioles have. You have the superlatives going for you this week. You just have to do it. I mean, how many times are we going to say it? You just got to do it.
it's easier said than done. I
Yeah.
mean, Kyler Montero, Troy Milton, Tarek Skubal. Would not be surprised if the Orioles lost the first 2 games, but Trevor Rogers went toe to toe with Skubal, and the Orioles put up 4 runs against Skubal and won that one. All I'm looking for is a series win, but I'd be furious if they get swept. I'd be like, all right, whatever if they lose the series. It's 3 series losses in a row. You'd be 3-6 in your last 9. That would suck. But like I said, I'm confident that this team, when they
Who's
get a little bit healthier, the offense is going to start to produce. I'm confident, very confident in the starting pitching rotation. Then I think at some point this upcoming week, you're going to start to see Elias grab a reliever. How nice would it be to have Brian Baker right now, though, Clay?
and what I would do for the outs maker? It would feel great. I will say. I never thought I'd say that, but I hope Elias acts early. Last 2 years ago when we got Eflin, he acted early,
Yeah.
and he made a lot of things happen early. So waiting until Tuesday when you know that this week is going to be what decides, your fate. I hope he attacks it early. I hope maybe we get something done tomorrow. I'm currently looking at who everybody plays this week. Minnesota's got the Royals. While we got the Tigers, so need the Royals to kind of come to town and kind of hope they push Minnesota towards a sell. You look at the Astros go to the Angels, so great.
Yeah,
Um,
great. Thanks for nothing, Angels.
thanks
Is
for
great
nothing.
is Grayson Rodriguez pitching?
No, Reed Detmers tomorrow, so they might have a chance
Mm,
tomorrow.
They may.
Lambert's on the mound for the Astros, so he can shove. But better news: the Mariners have the Dodgers, so that's that's great news.
This is a
Tuesday Detmers is going.
okay.
Let me see. I pray to God Grayson's not going this week. Now
Why
Jose
not?
Urano's pitching tomorrow, and he's been
He's been good.
270 RA this year. Wednesday. Please God, fuck. Yeah, he's going Wednesday.
All right. Well, whatever you do, bet
Bet
Did you
on
say who's
Houston.
playing them? The Astros? Yeah, yeah. Bet on
Yeah.
Houston and bet Yordan Alvarez home run,
I
uh,
would
Jeremy Pena homer.
the surest lock is going to be the Astros money line in the first 5 innings.
Yeah,
Probably going to
1000%.
be 6-1.
1000%. And I don't know, like if the Orioles want to make the playoffs, a lot of things have gone their way in the wild card race so far with no team like really putting their foot forward besides Boston. They have been blessed still only being 2.5 out. They need to just
I mean,
this is all I
Ozzy
think.
Albies had a ball go through his legs today. I mean, how much luckier can this team get? They still don't take advantage of it.
Yeah, you're getting gift wrapped wins and the manager is pissing down his leg. And
Now I do
so's the
want
team and the bats.
before we get out of here, I do want to talk about the Red Sox trade last night.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You're a
Let's do it.
savant guy. I want to hear your opinion on it. I think the Red Sox kind of overpaid. I think the Red Sox have a ton of pitching. I think that Connolly Early was the guy probably on the way out if they were going to make a trade. But I also thought that it would be for a CJ Abrams kind of guy, a guy like that. I mean, Curtis Mead, no disrespect, he's had a good year, but this is the same guy that the Nationals got, DFA'd in March for, nickels on the dime. I mean, is Curtis Mead really worth, 5 years of service for Connolly Early?
I think it's two things. I think one, it's the fact that Mead is under team control till the end of 2030. That's 3.5 seasons of a baseball player that has rejuvenated his career and he's going to hit very well, and his hitter profile matches up very nicely with the dimensions of Fenway.
Mhm.
I think that's a big reason as to why they did it. It was an area of need. They kind of needed, the third baseman, first baseman type fit, maybe. I know that they have Contreras, but Mead can play third for you. And like I said, his profile is just going to fit very, very well in Fenway. He's proven that he's a good bat, that he can hit both righties and lefties. Now, he was great at hitting lefties throughout his career, but now he can hit righties now. And it's kind of funny that we're talking about Curtis Mead, like, oh, he's finally able to hit righties, because it's like Kobe Mayo is kind of like on that same trajectory, both the top prospect in the organization, both not known for their defense, both play, third base, first base. One got DFA'd, came to a new team, figured it out, and now he's like an 850 OPS guy who's going to hit 25 plus homers. Like, that's what we expected Kobe Mayo to be. Anyways, I do think it is a great trade for the Nationals. It's like like, it's like the Orioles trading Ryan O'Hearn, who they got for cash considerations, for Boston Bateman and Victor Figueroa and a bunch of other guys who are now rising up the farm. It's like you got those players for free, essentially. Same with like Ramon Laureano. He was like a 2-year, $8 million contract.
2 year. We were like, why the hell are we signing Ramon Laureano?
Right. Like that is how you rebuild baseball teams. And the Nats took a chance on a guy that used to be a top prospect. He's completely panned out for them. They got a great young controllable arm who's not going to pitch for a few more weeks, but he's on a rehab assignment. But dude, I love what they're building there in DC. I hope they keep James Wood. I hope they keep CJ Abrams. I hope they keep Luis Garcia. And then I hope that they just go forward with Connerly Early and Cade Cavalli as their pitching rotation or pitching duo, trade Foster Griffin, get some more stuff back. But like Eli Willits, he's going to get called up in a year and a half.
Foster Griffin's a very interesting name because the numbers are there, but he's also 30 years old. So
yeah, he came from like the KBO or something.
Yeah, I mean, Foster Griffin is having a great year, and it gives the Nationals a great opportunity because they're not in a window to succeed right now. They're still a year or two away.
There's zero pressure on them too.
Exactly. And obviously, I don't want to see the Nationals do good. I mean, I hate the Nationals, but I hope for their own sake they don't trade CJ Abrams. I hope for their own sake they don't trade James Wood, and they just continue to build. That team has so much young talent, and you have guys that you can move. Curtis Mead, Foster Griffin. You have guys you can move and continue to, have an influx of young talent. Just keep building. Do what Michael Elias did, except don't find a way to mess it up. Like that's, don't find a way to mess it up.
Easier said than done.
But I like seeing what they're building. CJ Abrams is hotter than the sun right now. So, it's fun to watch.
They shouldn't trade him unless they get a worldy of a package. Worldy.
I mean, I'm talking top 10 prospect at this point. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
could you
And
imagine if CJ Abrams could even field? I mean, we talk about Luis Ariza's fielding. I mean, CJ Abrams is like Stevie Wonder in the field. I mean,
he's a good ball player. I
great ball
was
player, though.
I was very negative on him early in his career because I watched a lot of Padres baseball because of Manny Machado, and I was like, "Oh, Abrams is finally getting called up." He kind of struggled when he was with the Padres up in the majors, and he gets traded, has a rough few years, but he's been getting better and better and better and better and better. And that's why I still have hope for, some of these young guys for the Orioles because he's just stayed around. He's been there for 4 years now, and year four, he's figured it out. So we will see what happens. But that's going to wrap things up for today's episode. It was a little bit of a shorter one. We didn't really want to get into like targets that they could go after. We talked about Freddie Peralta a little bit, some of the Mets relief pitchers that we could go out and target. But if you guys want to check out our buyers or sellers episode that we posted a few days ago, it's up on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. You guys can check that episode out there with Zach Bollinger. Rex, appreciate the kind words, my friend.
Appreciate it,
We'll be going back live after the Tiger series. So Wednesday night, we will be back in the booth. Hopefully Jake Oren can catch us. And I'm also super excited to announce that Brett Hollander, color commentator for the O's, will be coming on the show. I have about 20-30 minutes to speak with him this upcoming Tuesday at about 11 a.m. Eastern time. Clay might join me. We still have to work that out. But if you guys want to hear, me and Brett chop it up about Orioles baseball, I'll be going live at 11 o'clock on my on my Twitter, Orioles Theory Twitter, and Orioles Theory YouTube. So make sure to check us out there. Socials, all linked below at Orioles Theory on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. You can listen to O's Theory on all podcasting platforms for $0. That's going to wrap up today's episode. Thank you guys for tuning in. For Tyler Barbaras, Clay Selgin, we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Go O's.
Go O's.